you here today for Meeting of the Minds 2010. So thank you so much for being here. I have thought about what I wanted to say, and the thing that I appreciate most about you all being here is that you have taken a day out of your life, out of your busy schedules, for education. And we've talked a lot in the office about how to make education fun, sexy, and then we realized we have Scott Hobson for that. And I realized ultimately education is not about what you're going through at the time, it's about what you get when you get through the other side.
I guess the question we didn't answer though is who is actually the most important person in the room? So what I want you to do right now is take a look at the person to the left of you, take a look at the person to the right of you, and it should be blaringly obvious it's not any one of them, is it? So it must be you. So could you give yourselves a round of applause for taking the time to be here today?
It's about sport. It's about our people. And we say our internal mantra is great people doing great things to help others. If we did not get into the space to do just that, then we are in the wrong field. And we talk about the difference between willing to do what it takes, versus what Bobby so eloquently just put as the eagerness to do what it takes.
Hire trainers, therapists, that we look for, because we often get the bibliography coming in, the resume coming in, and we never look at it. And people ask us, what do you look for? And the two things that we always look for are humility and adaptability. And I hope I achieve what Bobby said. I hope I achieve a thought process in you that ultimately affects your business. Here's what I'd love for you to do, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Forget who I am at the end today. I don't exist. But don't forget the unifying principles that I'm about to explore.
About the assessment side, or the nutrition side of the assessment process, I should say. And because I guess I'll level with you guys. I kind of find the first half of my presentation anyway, or at least the design, like going over the assessment thinking, kind of cool, but also kind of boring to present. Like I'm going to talk about my theory of assessment and stuff like that, and you guys are going to go, just tell me about the client. Like I want to learn that stuff. So I'm also going to go one step further, and I'm going to present a 5-step process or system for delivering exceptional nutrition coaching within a personal training environment.
Go through the assessment procedure to show basically what we're looking at. I mean, we are trainers. We specialize in the muscular system. And, well, actually, how many people here are personal trainers? But basically, we're the exercise industry, the majority of people being personal trainers that basically, what do we work with? We work with the muscular system. So it's really our job to know anything and everything about the function of muscle.
Is balance. So I look at all the factors that are essential. So diet, lifestyle, movement, and that's what my 4-doctor philosophy is: Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Movement, Dr. Happiness. I asked her what her dream was. I looked at what her challenges were, and I said, okay, now how can we find balance in your life with your schedule and with the things that are important to you? And I looked at her diet, and I looked at her findings of my assessment, and I could see right where she was out of balance energetically. And so I...
Exactly 15 minutes, thank you.
Bobby, you're going to have a big problem. I can really follow that introduction really, but...
Well, you gotta say something.
That's true, for the next 20 minutes even. It is a great, great pleasure for me to be here today standing in front of you. I have perhaps the simplest job of all of us today. I get to articulate how we've put into practice a labor of love that I've developed over 4 years ago into small group training. This is a real big thrill for me. And my other job today is I get to build up 3 lecturers that are coming up after, Rodney Korn, Scott Hobson, and Eno Dwyer. Because what they're going to do is take my information and go into more depth and perhaps give you a little bit more than I'm going to introduce right now. And they've taught me so much, and what we're able to do is put into practice using this tool
is that's truly important as it relates to movement, but also as it relates to
Great
physical
to be here. It's a real honor. And Bobby threw out some numbers, and I will say that I'm very proud of those numbers, but I think the numbers that I'm most proud of is I have 28 trainers on my staff, and I just calculated how much experience we had on that staff, and we have 304 years of experience on our staff, and 225 of those years have happened at Rally Sport. So it's always been my focus to take care of trainers, and small group training has been an extraordinarily important part of that plan for the last 5 years. Sat down with my team. We knew that personal training was going very, very well. And I said, how would you guys like to be the best in the world at something? And they all agreed together that they wanted to be part of that.
This presentation is directed at those people who run clubs, or change of clubs, that are very different from the types of organisations that you were presented to this morning. I work with people who are mainstream. Mainstream people have a lot of problems and a lot of challenges. They're not doing the things that are necessary to produce the high performance that you were talking about, or you heard from the guys this morning. So please bear with me on that. All my presentations have a health warning. The health warning is this: it's my truth. It's not the truth. So everything I say is my opinion. I've got 20 minutes to say what I like. You can just go and listen. You can walk out of the room, of course. And that's very, very important, because some of it you might like, some of it you won't. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that if you hear something that's different from what you're currently doing, and what you're doing isn't working, then maybe you might want to change.
All right, so who has the first question for either Annette, Nick, or both?
Did you guys all eat the
Nope.
cookies?
I think the one most important thing that is our relationship as trainer and client is that connection that we have to each other. And so if I lose that by distraction or by my iPhone, that breaks the cardinal rule of what this is all about. And so I think we've lost that connection from one step higher. You know, and as I mentioned with Danny Meyer, if we can just feed that forward, and you can't be surprised if your trainer doesn't pay attention if that's what you're showing them when they're trying to have your attention. So I don't know if that answered it, but...
Guys, can you do me a favour? I want you, because, you know, we've had an amazing amount of conversation today. Who would agree that today has been unbelievable what we've heard? Fantastic. So what I want to do now is I want to start to take some of those major words that we've heard and some of those philosophies and some of those concepts, and I want to turn it into a practical component. So could anyone who's sitting on tables and sparse with people, could you fill those tables up for me? We've got to play a little game. Everyone's going to touch it? Okay, that's it. Good. Crossover. Billy, here it comes. Nice.
Atta girl.
Quick, crossover. Nice. Nice and easy. Remember, you've got pain. Guys, why would I bring a balloon into someone who's got pain? What's causing the pain? Is it physical, is it mental, or is it emotional?
The fact that we're in a room where people who we would have perhaps perceived as very differing philosophies and opinions in life are standing on the same stage with the same vision, and that's very inspiring. But there were certain things that kept coming out. And to reiterate what Rod just said, we're starting to say the same thing, but with different words. And every time I took a note today, an aha moment, it sounded just like what the previous person had said. I don't know if you had that experience. And so what I wanted to present on today was a topic that's become very, very dear to me. And it's complex made simple. Unfortunately, I spent most of my life making the simple very complex. Ask my wife.